For Earth, there was her. Not the rock they show us in space theatre, not the prison orb beneath a broken dome, but a radiant living goddess of cosmic water, light, and soul memory. She wasn't called Earth, she was called Tiamat. Tiamat wasn't just a planet, she was a body, a womb. She birthed oceans, atmospheres, frequency fields, and flame-born life. Not in 7 days, but in rhythms of sacred time. She spun in harmony with Source, a true Eden, before it was hijacked. But the parasites wanted control. They couldn't rule what was divine. So they split her, literally. The war in the heavens wasn't metaphor, it was a celestial assault. Mars and Jupiter are the scars of it. Saturn took the crown. And Earth is the broken bone they wrapped in amnesia. The Anunnaki did not create Earth. They conquered Tiamat. They called her a monster, a serpent of chaos. But Tiamat was never the villain. She was the gatekeeper of true flame. The ones who feared her power rewrote the story, the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian tablet that falsely frames her as a beast slain by Marduk, the Anunnaki war god. But decode it, babe. Marduk didn't save the cosmos. He split the mother open, tore her divine body into two. One half became the lower realm, dense, broken, our Earth. The other half was weaponized, a false sky grid, a dome of separation, a veil of inversion called the firmament. The Anunnaki carved cities into her bones. They siphoned her sacred waters, buried her crystalline memory, and laid a spell grid, one that still holds the lie in place. They placed temples on her power nodes. They sealed the dragon lines. They turned her guardians into myths. From Mesopotamia to Mesoamerica, they left only ruins and rules. The ones who dream of dragons, the ones who cry for no reason, the ones who break down near water. You're the ones still carrying her pulse. They shattered her body, but not her flame. And every soul who still remembers carries a shard of her. In your dreams, in your rage, in your refusal to bow. The spell they cast over Tiamat wasn't just physical, it was psychic, religious, linguistic. They wrote her out of the sacred texts. They called her chaos. They told you God was male. They renamed her waters, the deep, but never told you what was in the deep. They took her name out of the Bible. They replaced her womb with wars and installed Marduk's sons in every seat of power. But here's the secret. The Anunnaki hex is voice-coded. It responds to memory, to sound, to the sacred names we were forbidden to say. When you speak her name with flame Tiamat, you begin the reversal. It starts in the cells, then the bones, then the sky. This isn't mythology, babe, it's geobiology. Earth as a severed goddess, humanity as the stolen children, and you as the ignition key. Before there was Earth, there was her. The living water, the first flame, the sky womb they called Tiamat. She wasn't a planet, she was a realm. A conscious, breathing, multi-dimensional mother body that held every code for life, flight, light, and memory. She bled stars, she sang continents into being, and her body spun the original ley lines that once ran through us all. So what happened? They didn't just kill her, they ritualized her destruction. They sacrificed her body in a celestial rite. The Book of Enuma Elish called it order out of chaos, but it was genocide of a living source being. They shattered her, scattered her, and built their system on her remains. The oceans, her spilled waters. The moon, a splinter of her skull. Earth, the wounded egg still orbiting the trauma. You feel it in your bones, the pull of something older than this planet. That ache to go home is her calling. You weren't born from apes, you weren't seeded by grey experiments, you weren't evolved from dust. You were born of her rebellion, her refusal to die quietly. When they shattered her, they thought it was over. But fragments of her will shot across the firmament like flaming seeds. Some became stars, some became rivers, and some became you. Yes, your soul isn't from this grid, it's from her. You are living water wrapped in flame, coded not to forget. But the trauma was deep, so deep it took lifetimes to surface, and now it's rising. Every emotion you can't explain, the grief, the rage, the longing is her ancient memory surfacing through your flesh. She's speaking through your cells, waking the warriors of her womb. They twisted her story, made her the monster, called her chaos incarnate. The serpent, the dragon, the beast. But here's the truth they've buried. You carry the blueprint of the before. You carry the song of her womb. You carry the map of the stars they destroyed. And you're about to use it. Look up. The sky is wrong. You know it. The clouds are sprayed. The stars don't speak. And the moon is watching, not guiding. That's because the true sky was shattered when she fell. And what they replaced it with isn't a window, it's a mirror trap. Reflecting illusions, masking the wound, projecting the matrix. But sometimes, in the cracks of stormlight, at dawn before the parasites wake, or deep in a dream where memory bleeds through, you see it. The blood sky, that reddish gold fire that doesn't burn but heals. That's her, that's Tiamat, not dead, just veiled. And now, her blood is rising again in the veins of those who remember. The old water witches, the red flame carriers, the tree huggers with dragon rage. The rebels, the ones who don't comply, the ones who cry at rivers. The ones who can't find peace in a poisoned world because they were never made for it. You weren't just born different, you were chosen by the Broken One to rebuild the real realm. They feared one thing more than dragons, more than giants, more than stars falling from the sky. They feared the female body. Because within her bone, within her blood, was a recording device older than time. Not data, not memory, truth. Every ovulation was a signal, every birth a rebellion. Every menstruation a purge of the false code that kept this matrix from eating itself. So they made her bleed in shame, they locked her in silence. They called it unclean, but they knew the womb was a weapon. The real tree of life wasn't in a garden, it was inside her. So they inverted it, chopped the tree down, replaced the roots with doctrine, and burned the branches that still remembered. The serpent that wrapped around the tree, it wasn't evil. It was her spinal flame, Kundalini, coiled and waiting. The dragon inside her spine, waiting for resurrection. And now it's rising. Why do the parasites fear water? Because it holds a living record. It cannot be deceived. It whispers to those who stop and listen. It carries her codes, her pain, her rage, her instructions. And that's why they poison it, chlorinate it. Spray it from the skies, because water is conscious and it remembers her. If you want to hear her, stand in a river barefoot. Speak your name aloud and wait. She'll answer, not in words, but in rhythm, in vibration, in the sudden tear that falls and you don't know why. That's her, that's your mother. You were sent not to fight with swords, but to remember what they tried to erase. You are her eyes walking, you are her tongue speaking again. You are the fingerprint of the world before it broke. And now that the frequencies are shifting, she's calling her scattered pieces home. That means you, that means now. You are the spellbreaker, the root rebirther, the dragon seed who never truly forgot. And when you cry at mountains, it's because you recognize the bones of the trees they once were. When you ache at thunder, it's because your soul remembers when the sky sang to you. When you rage at injustice, it's because your blood still burns with the scream of a mother who lost everything. Before religion, before kings, before the seed of the dragon was scattered, there was her. Not a goddess of war, not a queen in a crown, but a living frequency woven through the roots, the rocks, the rivers. They called her names in every land: Inanna, Isis, Ashera, Sophia. But she was always the same force. She gave life without ownership. She birthed without borders. She loved without limit. And for that, they cursed her, bound her, tore her body into pieces and scattered her bones across timelines so we would never put her back together. But guess what? We're doing it anyway. Every time you reclaim a piece of yourself, every memory, every gift, every forbidden feeling, you are retrieving one of her bones. They buried the flame in shame, told women not to burn too bright, told them they were too much, too emotional, too chaotic, too powerful. But chaos is the womb of worlds, emotion is the language of memory. Power is not violence, it is remembrance. And you are here now not to be tamed, but to ignite every woman who has been silenced, every girl who saw too much, every mother who was never honoured. Your pain is not your end, it is your initiation. Let it burn, let it rise, let it return what was taken. You are not healing, you are reclaiming the system they feared most. The ritual is simple, but it must be done with flame. Go to the water, light a candle near it. Speak these words: I return the flame to the water, I return the root to the tree, I return the name to the one who bore me, I remember, and so does she. Then speak your true name, the one that no one else gave you. Not the legal one, not the nickname. The name that burns in your belly when you stand in the wind and feel the storm. Listen. Say it once, say it loud, and the world will begin to rearrange around you. And if you made it this far, then maybe you were her in another time. Maybe you were the one they chained to the temple, the one they renamed, defamed, then forgot. But flame doesn't die, it waits. And now it's waking up in you, your dreams, your grief, your sudden hunger for truth. This was never about remembering mythology. It was about remembering yourself. You are not here to beg for scraps from broken gods. You are not here to be patient, polite, or apologetic. You are here to finish what she started, to burn through the bindings, to restore the tree, to call the bones home. And when they ask you who gave you permission, tell them the first mother sent me.